What is going on, everyone? It's Tyler McKinney back here, and yeah, we're going to get more football. Old school boxing talk. What is up, sir? Glad to have you here. Gollum, as always, thank you for showing up, and we're going to go ahead and we're going to get started here. I'm going to be just kind of giving you my thoughts on just what a great week of the XFL we had, and also just kind of touching base with where we're at with the USFL. Yes, my videos will be coming out this week. You'll start to see them trickling in here. Pretty much after the stream goes off, you'll start seeing them tomorrow and that with it. So it'll be kind of exciting. Joseph Rodriguez, glad to have you here. Let me know down in the chat who you are, where you're from, and thank you. Thank you for showing up and checking things out. Hopefully you can hear me all right. Hopefully everything's coming in loud and clear. Hopefully my audio is okay for you. Let me know if you are having troubles, and I'll try to fix it there. How are you, man? Joseph, I'm doing fantastic. How are you, sir? Haven't joined in a while. Well, I haven't done anything in a while. It's been about a month since I did one, and so I figured, why not? Let's go ahead and let's take a dive back in and see where everybody's at with things. Reflecting back on week 8, I had a great week. Gollum from the south of the U.S. Well, Gollum, glad to have you here. I'm from Ohio myself, from West Ohio. I'm a Buckeye here. Joseph, we got somebody from California. Cool. Yeah, another Dragons fan. Gotta love it. What's up, Clyde Emerson, my guy? I was with you since the beginning. XFL 2020 Alabama. Thank you, Clyde. Yeah, it was 2020 was one of those things. It was really cool to see this community build and this XFL, and we were all kind of coming together, and we were like living in this space together, and it was just one of those things where unfortunately, COVID happened, and it just kind of ruined a really special thing. I think the XFL, not that the XFL isn't great now, I just think that what it was back then, if we would have continued on with it, I think where we would be at right now would have just been crazy. Tay, what's up? Old school boxing, looking forward to some more spring football. Yeah, this week, we're going to go head to head with both of these two, and we'll kind of dive into that as we go. What's up, Michael? Crazy how fast this season has been. Yep. What's up, Michael? Marshall fan. Might be a Showboats fan. Gotta wait and see. Yeah, the Showboats, I will say, the USFL, finally getting away from all of those red, really warm colors. I will say, though, with that green field that they had, that turf in Birmingham, they really stood out on the field. So I will say that looked pretty good. But the Showboats logo and their uniforms and everything, man, those look really sharp. And it's kind of nice because the stuff with the USFL is just it's a different take than what we've been seeing with the XFL, and not the XFL stuff's bad. I probably prefer that stuff better, but it's just a nice contrast and difference to what we have been used to seeing over the past 8 weeks. See what else we got going on here. I wasn't into football in 2020 as much as I am now, but still a Dragons fan back in 2020. Yeah, Dragons fans, we got to stick together. I know that there's a lot of Battlehawks fans around here, and you guys let me know it all of the time. So, getting into kind of where we're at, where the state of the XFL. I think that it's really actually pretty good. When you're sitting here looking at it, you've got only 2 teams officially eliminated from the playoffs. I think that's great. That means that, a lot of your games in week number 9 are going to be meaningful, and hopefully going into week number 10. We got Gollum saying he's a big fan of the USFL, and I'm so hyped for year 2, and I think that football will be very fun to watch. Football's going to be actually fantastic to watch this week, and I think it's going to be really fun. One of the things for me that I'm really looking forward to with the USFL is kind of the continuity that we're gonna have here. Everything isn't always brand new, and one of the struggles has been with these spring leagues is every time we start something up, it what happens is that we go from having nothing to something, and you're building new teams, even though you're building it with guys that are seasoned, conditioned, have been there before, but it's all new teams, all new coaching staffs, and so you're starting from scratch over and over again, and so it does make it kind of exciting because it's all the unknown, but it also makes it tough to really break these things down and get a feel and figure things out, and to pick a fan base, be part of a fan base, because they're all always brand new. And so it's nice with the USFL that we're going to get into year 2. We've got this continuity that if you were fans of a team last year, you can continue to be fans. Now, I will say no Tampa Bay Bandits, but, move that team to Memphis, and a lot of those players and that team is still going to be together to where you still kind of have them to root for. And really, they weren't in Tampa. So, I mean, moving them to Memphis, and I think that's going to be a really, really good hub city for them there. I think football is, it does really, really well there in Tennessee, and so I think that is just it's a slam dunk for them there. Yeah, I hear you, Tay, with your cause, doing good with Fox and NBC backing it. Yeah, I kind of sat down and with the USFL and kind of looked at where they're positioning things, and a lot of it really, especially the way that they have it set up, each week there's at least one game on either Fox or NBC, and majority of the weeks it's either 2 or 3 games that are on the primetime networks, and the ones that aren't are like the 7 o'clock games, the 7:30 games, and those are usually either on FS1 or on USA. So it's kind of a really nice thing that you've got kind of going on there. What's up, Jummy Ran? Gonna watch both. Yeah, of course we've got to. Why wouldn't you? If you're really a football fan, you've got to watch both. You got to support both. And you're not just supporting a league, you're supporting the players. I mean, these are guys that are getting an opportunity to to follow their dream, and how can you not, especially when you're getting something for it? You're getting entertained. I will say every week of the XFL season I've looked forward to, and I've been entertained every week. MJL 2498, what's up? XFL needs to add CBS as a broadcast partner. Once after March Madness, CBS can broadcast games. You're not going to see that happen. So right now, what you have is you've got really a fight between the old school broadcasting companies for this space, this spring football space, and so kind of, I don't know, I'll probably get into the weeds, but trying to keep it at surface level here. What you do is you have Disney, and then you have Fox and NBC, and pretty much what Fox and NBC has done, and you can kind of see it with a lot of these new TV deals, especially in college football, that NBC and Fox have really teamed up against Disney, which is Disney, ESPN, ABC, and they're really fighting each other right now. And for those of you who are like, well, I thought that, well, they're just all Fox is owned by Disney. Disney does not own Fox. Disney owns 21st Century Fox, which was the movie kind of, all of the movies, the movie department, all of that side of things under Fox. Fox still owns the Fox network. So, your regular Fox TV, what you're going to watch your Friday Night SmackDown on, all of that, all of Fox Sports, everything under the heading of Fox Sports, Fox still owns, and Fox still owns Fox News, Fox Business, all of that type of stuff. The only thing they sold was 21st Century Fox. So you have these two big juggernauts, and what's happened is that Fox Fox and kind of NBC have kind of come together, and they have that. Now, CBS is another one, and you've mentioned CBS. I don't see the CBS coming into this and jumping on board with them. I see CBS possibly taking stride with the NBCs and the good night, having a hard time talking here, but and Fox and NBC and CBS. I see them sticking with that. I don't see them getting in that. And two, they have a little bit more of a different traditional lane than, like I said, with the Disney ESPN lane. They're really much going for here. These old broadcasting companies are going up against Disney, and so you have, and you can tell too, because on ESPN you will never see anything about the USFL, and on Fox's, you don't see anything about the XFL. Now, it might get mentioned here and there. You might see some of that stuff, but they're not going to cross-contaminate with each other. You're not going to get a whole lot of that. Going back here, who else we got? Forget about that. Let's see if it's going to choose. I think it would be backing Fox, Yeah, that's the thing. A Defenders fan from Virginia. What's up, Dillard? Good to have you. But yeah, so I mean, when you're looking at this, they're kind of staying in their lanes, and too, like I said, when you start to actually see the breakdown of kind of where these broadcasting companies lie and stuff. And to remember that the NFL, the partnership with the NFL, Fox is the largest contributor with the NFL. They have the most money and partnership with the NFL. So when you're talking like the National Football League, the No Fun League, and everybody's talking about, oh yeah, the XFL's partnership with them on doing this stuff. Yeah, they kind of are, but what I will say is that Fox is owning this deal with the USFL, and having that, they work hand in hand with the NFL. So they're not going to do anything, or they're not going to put themselves in any place where they're not going to be able to have what they've got going on with the NFL. And remember, CBS is another huge one with the NFL, to where I don't see, again, I don't see them siding with that ABC. I see them kind of fitting on the more side of the USFL with things of that nature. It's hard for the XFL because of as much competition going on during the season to compete with broadcast channels during the playoffs, NHL, NBA playoffs, which are on ESPN and ABC. Really been nice for the XFL. Yeah, ESPN Plus has been nice. The problem is that not everybody's on it. I would love to see the numbers, and for some reason we're not, and I don't know if maybe they just can't really grasp those metrics or what's going on there. I don't know with that instance, but I'm just it's really interesting to me. It definitely shows that so Disney has given the XFL whatever money to broadcast these games, and they're broadcasting them how they want to, and you can really see that where they're putting them and what they're doing, and you can see what when it comes to broadcasting money is bringing in money for Disney. And Disney's kind of, they are giving XFL TV time, and I'm not saying that they're not, but when it comes to their bread and butter for this time of the year, they are giving, I mean, baseball's still getting the tops with it, and other sports are, as we've seen already, are getting kind of the nod ahead of them. And it could just be that the quote unquote risk that they're taking with the XFL, whereas with Fox, last year, one thing that really helped Fox is that they were in one location for most of the year. They didn't have to change things up. They could keep the production value up. One production team there the whole time, really work, dial all that bad boy in, and it really showed. Once they got to the playoffs and the championship game and ran that there in Canton, it looked solid, looked really good. I never sat and watched a USFL game and was and had anything and felt like I felt in any game at Cashman Field. I just didn't feel like that at all. And I mean, that just shows you just where Fox actually does sit in all of these things with their viewers in mind, when it comes to that. Now, these hub cities, it'll be interesting, but they've already got I mean, if you think about it, at Ford Field, like Fox is in that during the NFL season every other Sunday. They're in Ford Field, so I mean, you're good there. They've already done it in Birmingham, so that's a good place for them. Canton already done it there, and now moving into Memphis, they're really excited to be there, but that's not going to be a hard sell, a hard place for them to really, do a game there, to where they're going to look really nice in those hub cities, and I'm kind of really excited for that. Panthers fan from Wisconsin, nice. All right, Chris. Cyril Moore, good to see you. Spicy Ben, what is going on? We'll be out. We'll draw everything else. XFL only has a few handful of games on ABC. The XFL games are on cable. Yeah. I really think the XFL needs to have consistent time slots. I would like the 1, 4, 6, 9 on the weekends. I think that the time slots are key, but I think that the time slots with the networks is a big thing too. And don't get me wrong, the USFL is going to flip-flop around. You're going to have them on different networks. But I will say that they are putting their product and putting their money where their mouth is. They are putting a lot more on Fox than what the XFL put on. I'm sorry, let's rephrase that. They're putting more on Fox and on NBC than what the XFL has put on ESPN or on ABC. And it just shows where they're sitting with their product. They believe more in the product that they have. And, I've said this before, the XFL seems to me like it's more of a flash, kind of a thing, whereas the Fox is really looking at this as an investment type of a thing, where I think that Disney is also too, but in a different way. They're not holding this thing. What's up, Primetime, Christopher? For those late games, yeah, 9 p.m. isn't a good time. Yeah, it really isn't. I don't like the late night. Anything after 7:30 is just really way too late to be doing anything with. I would agree there, Michael. I would love to see the future, the best XFL team versus the best USFL team. It's not going to happen. I mean, it would be kind of cool to do something like that, but you're not going to get that. That's not going to transpire. You're not going to. That's not going to be something that you're going to be able to pull off. Realistically, that it's just the two different they're never going to come together unless there's just something glaring that both sides can figure out. There's just too much money on the table to not come together. And a big example of that would be with NBC and Fox sharing the broadcast of the very first USFL game last year. Them doing that together and combining that and both broadcasting at the same time just goes to show you that stuff can happen, but it isn't going to happen anytime soon, and I wouldn't try to expect it. Let's see here. Mike, Stallions signed Randy Moss's son, Thaddeus Moss from LSU. Titans have 2 legit tight ends now. The Stallions, Mike, they're looking like they're just a team that's just going to retool and reload. I will say I like them. I just, watching them last year, the quarterback position was just okay for me. Magoo and Jamar just okay. I didn't feel like either one really took it for me, and maybe they might be able to with having a year under their belt. Having a guy like Moss, it'll be interesting. But see, here's the thing though. That's what I'm talking about with the USFL. I can kind of talk about these teams. I can talk about a team that went pretty much undefeated. They had that one hiccup, so they were 9-1, and then went and ran everything. And they're bringing most of their team back. They're looking like they're reloading for a two-peat, and so I can be a lot more. It's just there's a lot less speculation in it, and I think that they're going to have a really good squad coming back for that. Yeah, I'm excited, and they do have. I mean, their tight ends are legit there. Columbus, Ohio would be an amazing place, especially with the Columbus Crew's new stadium. Yeah, Columbus is great. I was just in Columbus on Thursday, so I had to go down. I was literally downtown for a meeting, so I wasn't too far from there. Literally, I was like 2 blocks from where the Blue Jackets play. So. Columbus is a great city. It's a great football town, obviously, and it would be a great place to have, especially for the USFL. It would make total sense for the USFL to go there. However, they've seemed to have found a home in Canton. Like, it wouldn't be bad if they just figured out a team and put a team from the USFL there in Canton. Or like XFL would do fantastic in Columbus. If you put an XFL team in Columbus and, I don't know, gave them some type of a Midwestern, type of a name there. If you wanted to pay homage to, I don't know, something in Ohio, that's fine. It would be bonkers. Their TV ratings would be through the roof. Oh, it would be fantastic. And you would get some great games there, and it would be fantastic. And you could easily have like the first 3 weeks not be in Ohio, and you could get some decent weather, some decent football weather in March in Ohio, no problem. That would be great, but Canton would be a great place for the USFL to introduce like their first non I don't know, like legacy team, I guess, if you want to call it that, and bring in maybe your first team that actually has like a green color to it. That would be perfect for them there in Canton. That would make total sense to do something there. I hope that the XFL brings back the red and black football. I don't. Sorry. I love having you here, and I'm gonna be honest with you. I don't like the old school rubber looking football. I know that they were leather. I don't like it. I don't know. It looked chintzy to me, but then again, that was everything in whatever from 2000 to 2005. I mean, everything was chintzy. I mean, that's just how everything looked. Everything was bubbly. That's just how it was. What's up, crazy? Joseph Rodriguez, Columbus Clashers or Capital Clashers. What's up with the Clashers? I mean, I don't know. Let's see here. Agree, the old XFL football was better. I don't know. I actually like the one with the X's on the end from 2020. I still feel like 2020 has some magic to it. I don't know why, and maybe it's because that was this. It just reminded me of the start of this channel and things like that. It could just be that nostalgia I'm getting. Dude, what's up, Waxy? Audi Field looks like it's going to be packed, almost sold out. That's what I'm saying. They need to find, like, that's why Columbus would be perfect in that Cruise Stadium. Oh man, that would be fantastic. I mean, that's the perfect place. You get these stadiums that are around 20,000 fans, and you can pack those places, especially if you got good teams. The thing for Orlando is right now is just that their team has just been terrible, and they're just Camping World Stadium's a great location. It's just too big. But I think it's a great venue for them, and Orlando will show out. They just kind of almost need to be in a smaller place. Renegades versus Defenders going to be a great game. Yeah, I think it will. Renegades have a fantastic defense, and I think they'll do well against that Defenders offense and hold them. I think the problem is that if they need to get some type of an offense. Now, maybe Luis Perez is the real deal for them there, and this week he's going to make a difference, but I haven't seen it yet. I do love my 2020 New York Guardians football. Oh, man, I miss that Guardians logo, that Guardians. I mean, that was perfect. It was so DC. I mean, when you take so you took the 2020 Defenders and take the 2020 Guardians, and you just contrast them. I mean, is that not so like Marvel versus DC? I mean, it had such a New York Gotham feel to it. Gargoyle, it made sense. I don't know what they're trying. Like I said, I can't figure out if this Guardian is supposed to be if this is supposed to be a lion, if this is supposed to be a bear. Is it a bear cat? Is it a cat bear? I have no clue what it is. And then I'm kind of like, and that doesn't even take me to these nasty colors. The color scheme looks absolutely terrible. I hated the Vipers when they were in Tampa, and this is actually worse than them. And it's funny, like a lot of times when I saw things on the field, it's like, oh, that, I'm like, oh, I like that. It looks better. It looks worse on the field, and it's just like, so when they were, they're sitting there 0-6, and it just everything about them was terrible. What's up, Julian? The USFL, please bring back the Arizona Wranglers. I'll tell you, there's nothing right now west of the Mississippi with the USFL, and it'll be interesting to see if they do it. When they do expand, they're going to have to expand out west. It's a lot tougher to do that out west, and really get something like that to succeed. But first league to San Diego, really. Arizona's not a bad place. It's just I think it's gonna be tough to really fill the stands with a new startup team. But who knows? Denver is another place. You can get your whatever that Denver Gold back. But I want them just to change one of the teams and have a Canton team. That would be cool to me. And go from there. So let's see what else we got going on. Tsunami, what's going on? Who would win, Birmingham Stands or DC Defenders? Okay, so if we are going, I would say Birmingham Stallions. I would give them the edge, home field advantage. They have a really big following there in Birmingham. Not that the DC Defenders don't. I guess whichever team would be home, I would give them the advantage in that game. The one thing that's really interesting is just the offensive output that you're getting out of this XFL, especially with like individual stats for guys, compared to what the USFL was last season. I mean, they really have kind of stepped up, the game to another level, so to say. And it'll be interesting to see, just like I said, if the USFL takes that next step. That would be really interesting to see. Tough matchup. Yeah, but yeah, it's cool stuff. This is stuff we love talking about. What's up, Soy to Mangas? Are the USFL games going to be on Peacock again? Yes, they are going to be on Peacock again. But the ones that are on Peacock are also on NBC, if I'm not mistaken. I don't think that there's any Peacock exclusive ones this year. but we can kind of look real quick. So I'll pull up. I'm on the USFL website right now, and actually, we can kind of look at the schedule. I can kind of do one of these fancy things. Let me move schedule on over, and let's see what we got going on. So, week 1, we're on Fox. And then NBC and Peacock, and then FS1, USA, Fox, Peacock, and NBC. So as you're seeing, as I'm going through here, we got USA, Fox, NBC, and Fox. If you're noticing that most of these games are either falling on Fox or NBC and Peacock, Peacock, NBC, and FS1, week 5, USA, Fox, Peacock, and Fox, USA, Fox, FS1, Fox, FS1, USA, and Fox. So week 7, we get into week 7. That's the first week where there's only one game on the quote-unquote major network. And then going into week 8, we've got USA, Peacock, and NBC, Fox, and Fox. So there's 3, back to 3 again, though. Fox, and Peacock, and NBC. And then we got Peacock and NBC and a Fox again. And then week 10, we've got USA, Fox, FS1, and Fox. So we only had 1 week where there was only one game on just one major network. That says a lot of faith in your in your league and your product. So got that with it. But yeah, I mean, when you look at these stats from last year, it's kind of crazy. So right now, if I'm not mistaken, DiNucci has more passing yards than Jordan Ta'amu did. And I think you've got a couple of guys that had more passing touchdowns than Jordan Ta'amu. Now, I think Victor has more rushing touchdowns than anybody right now, but we've already, with 2 games left to go, Jordan Ellis, almost 600 yards has already been passed. The receiving yards for Turpin, that'll be one. I do know that we have I think we've already got over 5 receiving touchdowns. So let's go ahead over here and let's take a check and a look at the stats, player stats. So passing wise, yeah, DiNucci's already got over 2,000 yards. Touchdowns, he's got 15. AJ McCarron's got 17. Silvers has 13, and there's still 2 games left to go. Abram Smith, yeah, he's got over 100 more yards already. Let's see here, rushing touchdowns. We got a 7. So yeah, I didn't think we did have anybody that high yet. And then obviously receiving yards, we've got a 558, a 513. Yeah, so yeah, we've got quite a few guys right up there. So the offensive production has been, really good in the XFL. And so you can take it for what it's worth there. You can either say that, oh, their offenses are really great, or they're just that, or the the USFL's defenses were just that good. I don't know. All right, so I gotta get back up here. Okay. So did Peacock ever show ratings, or am I tripping? I didn't think they ever did. I haven't seen any streaming numbers of anything like that. Now they'll show viewership, I think, on TV shows, like how many plays and stuff, but I don't think we ever get any actual live sports data or anything of that nature. Let's see here. I went to try to check out the old MLFB website, and they got a new website up and running with a lot of video on it. Want to check it out. They didn't. Ben is pretty average quarterback. I mean, throwing double-digit INTs. Yeah, I don't know. I will say this, you watch the guy, though. You watch Ben DiNucci, and he is special when it comes to throwing the ball. Not many people can zing the ball like that. I mean, you just can't zing the ball like that. I mean, that arm talent-wise, that is NFL caliber. That's you don't see that outside of the NFL. The issue that he has is his as you can see sometimes with it, it's his attitude and the inconsistency in his play and just making bad decisions. And I think that that's why he's no longer in the NFL. Yeah, but that's why when you look at it, you see why he got starts. Playoff and championship prediction. What's up, Mike the Stallion? Let me know which one you're talking about. And I'll give you my playoff and championship prediction. Are you talking about for the XFL? If they relocate the Invaders from Oakland to San Diego or Sacramento, that wouldn't be a bad take. That would actually be a really good one. Have San Diego Invaders. San Diego just seems right. It feels right. I'll tell you a place where they could go would be Vegas and not Cashman. And I think that they would do just fine there. And Vegas would be a perfect place for the Invaders. I think that they got the trophy. Okay, XFL. All right, so playoff predictions. Going based upon what I've seen so far, I would have to say that it's definitely, obviously, Houston and DC are already in it. So we've got to go through and let's pick the other teams. So let's start in the South. The South, I think that you're going to have your Renegades. I think that the Renegades are going to be the team. I just don't see the Brahmas. The Brahmas need something at quarterback, and they're not going to find it. And it seems like pass. I guess they're taking a pass on him. For whatever reason, they feel like having Cone in there and doing what Cone does is a better option than trying pass. And I don't understand it, because if you don't think that he's that good, then why is he on your roster still and been on your roster this whole time? So I don't know with that, but yeah, the Renegades, and especially if they can figure something out with Perez, and Perez can figure out this offense and how to get this offense humming. That'll be an interesting thing there, but the Renegades there, so the South's pretty easy. I got the Houston coming out of the South, though. You got DC, and then really that leaves the Dragons, and it leaves, St. Louis. If I were a conservative betting man, I would go with the Battlehawks, just because they're going to be, they've got the home field advantage here. They've got the easier path. And, I hate to say that. I hate to put my Dragons on notice like that, but it's just too. And again, it goes back to DiNucci. With all of the mistakes that they make, the Battlehawks know how to take the mistakes that other teams make and capitalize on them. And unfortunately, they make the mistakes. And that's what you got. Just stinks. But it is what it is. Making sure I'm not missing anything here. So, all right. See what else. So, and then it would just be the Defenders and St. Louis. I think that the Defenders have something on them. I think the Defenders go in and they go into the championship game. Houston, if Houston can figure out an offense in the next 2 weeks, I would say Houston gives them a run for their money. But right now, I would say that it's the Defenders championship to lose. But we've got 2 weeks for Houston to figure things out. If Houston can figure out and get back to the way that they were playing in the first 4 weeks, they're going to give them a real run for their money. Let's see here. Defenders defensively defense is slipping. Yeah, but I will say their defense has been good. It hasn't been great, and that's kind of been the thing. It's just that they've been able to get takeaways and that to pick up. Let's see here. Just, would you be looking into any arena football leagues? Okay, so Joseph, here's the thing. Arena football is just not for me. I love football the way that it is, and nothing against it. It's just like I love the strategic game of it. I love the game of chess. I love the way that it is. I like having the run game very much a part of it. Even though the fast-paced game of the indoor football is exciting and can be very exciting, it's just not my thing. I've tried to watch them in the past, and I can't keep up with it. It just loses my interest. And so I apologize. The one I have been trying to keep up with and look at is United Football League, which was back from the 2000s in the United Football League. They're starting things back up. They've got about a month left before they kick off. I actually reached out to them, sent them an email, a message to see if I could get any more information on them and that, and I haven't heard anything from them. But then again, I mean, I doubt, why would you contact me? But hey, let's see here. What's up, fun one? What if they did an XFL champion? Yeah. Everybody says that. Who would win? I don't know. You would be surprised with it. It would be kind of a cool little thing like the AFL and the NFL in that. But I'm just let the leagues be the leagues right now, and let's just kind of go from there. I mean, it makes sense to me, though. I mean, there's plenty enough room for both of the leagues. And actually, I could easily see both leagues expanding to 12 teams easily and having 24 teams like that. I mean, if we've got 32 NFL teams, you add another, 24 to that. So, you've got what, like 56 teams there. We can easily support that many football teams. If around the world, there's literally hundreds of professional soccer teams. If the world can support that many, us here in the United States can support the football teams. The issue has not been that. The issue has been just the financial and the starting up of it. It's just unfortunately takes a lot of money to do it on the grand scale that they've been trying to do with the USFL and with the XFL. A lot of these, semi-pro and pro leagues over in the other countries just don't start off as quite large as what you have. And two, there just isn't as much turnover and liability with things like that. It's just a very, very violent game. So here, I'm dumb. It's dumb that the flag on the 4th and 15 conversion equal the first, kind of a dumb thing. I mean, it is what it is. The penalty, it doesn't matter when that penalty is called. That penalty is an automatic first down no matter what. So, I mean, it is what it is. And it was a legit penalty. I mean, it's not a bad call. I'm starting to like, because Fayetteville Mustangs have former Marshall quarterback. Oh, okay, cool. Yeah, and you did mention, Michael, that you're a Marshall fan. So, yeah, I mean, that's the thing. Like, there's buy-in there for people and parity in the playoffs. LOL, what if it went on a run? Yeah, I'll tell you what, if Arlington, Laquin, if Arlington can for literally for like 2 games find some semblance of an offense, they're gonna be a force. Their defense is just that good. Did you see Tony Khan announce the AW is bringing back All In, and it will be at Wembley Stadium in London this August? I hadn't. So I'm going to go off on a tangent, and I might lose some of you here, but I don't care. And it just is what it is. I'm going to go and get into professional football. Yes, I love professional football. Professional wrestling. I've been watching professional wrestling for, pretty much since I was a little kid. I remember going over to friends of ours' houses and watching pay-per-views, Royal Rumble, getting to stay up and watch, Hulk Hogan win the Royal Rumble, and, whether it be Ultimate Warrior. I mean, those were the guys that I grew up with. Andre the Giant, Jake the Snake Roberts, $1 Million Man, Hacksaw Jim Duggan, the Bushwhackers, the Nasty Boys. I was very much more of a WWF guy as opposed to WCW, but I watched WCW as well. I mean, I knew Lex Luger, I knew Sting, I knew, Ric Flair, and, the belt that they censored out that you couldn't see, Bobby the Brain Heenan, the Mouth of the South, Jimmy Hart, Legion of Doom. I mean, the Road Warriors. Those were the guys that I grew up with, and I've always been a fan of professional wrestling and kind of always watched it. I will say probably around probably about the time when our girls, we had our girls, I kind of got out of professional wrestling from watching it from like that standpoint, and it was really kind of more like when the Cena era got big and CM Punk in WWE. That's kind of when I kind of pulled out of it. And then I started getting back into it kind of around AEW time, when AEW was coming around and they were just kind of, making a run with it. And I started getting back into things, and I really started kind of enjoying the product that they were giving me. Yeah, it was a little indie, but it was okay. It reminded me of old school WCW, and not old school WCW. It was kind of like before WCW was bought out by WWE. It was like in those golden years. So it was like, when you had Hogan there, you had Macho Man Randy Savage there, you had DDP there, you had Harlem Heat there, you had and that's really where it was. I mean, it was just fun to watch. So you had Goldberg, you had Hogan, you had the Big Show. You had all of those guys there, and so you had kind of like the mainstream guys and the big guys, and then you had guys like Disco Inferno, Chris Jericho, you had Eddie Guerrero, Chris Benoit, Dean Malenko, and so those guys were kind of like your mid-card guys, and then you had and of course Rey Mysterio, Eddie Guerrero, and you had Psychosis. I don't know if he was 1, 2, 3 Kid at that time. I don't remember exactly, what he was, but you had a lot of those high flyers, and you got to see, it was just really, really cool, because you got to, that was the first time that I, had been really, I'd really seen any type of wrestling with any Japanese influence in it, or, any Latino influence in it. So it was like exciting to watch those matches. A lot of these guys I didn't really know, but I became fans of them because of the flippity doodahs, so to say. And then you had some really interesting storylines with the mid cards that they did. And then they just did the big over the top stuff with the top of the card, whether it be with Nash and Hogan and the NWO and all of them against the WCW and Scott Hall. You can't forget Scott Hall in there. And you had Sting, and it was just great. I loved all of that. And so AEW brought that all back up for me with that. But I've just kind of grown a little sour with professional wrestling, and it's been a couple different things. And it's probably been for probably like the past year. Yeah, but what was his name? Well, I mean, yeah, he was X-Pac, but what was he when he was in, I swear what was he when he was in WCW though? Didn't know what they really had with the cruiserweight division, and it was till it was too late. Yeah, well, I think they kind of knew, they kind of knew what they had, but I think that they were just in over their heads in contracts, and Turner just kind of was just ready to get loose of it. Turner never really loved wrestling like Tony Khan does, to where Tony Khan has no problem spending money because he knows he's going to invest it right, and he's in it for the long haul. Turner wasn't in it for the long haul. Turner saw that they could turn $1 and started turning $1, and when they couldn't turn $1 anymore, got off of it. Me and my son are watching. Dude, what's up, Pie Guy? Hope you and your family had a great. Yes, we did have a great Easter, and hopefully you had a happy and an exciting and a fun Easter as well. What's up, Coach? Sipping Jamba Juice out of a straw, Spicy Ben. Let's see here. 2 things: Vince and Tony Khan. Yeah, Vince coming back has really been a huge deal for WWE. So I guess getting back to my long story. And if any of you guys want me to switch, going back over from professional wrestling back to back to football, you can leave a super chat. If you want me to stay, you can go ahead and leave a super chat that way too. But right now I'm going to stay on wrestling. I'm kind of enjoying talking about it. So, Pie Guy, Lane, you guys are going to kind of get Tyler's version of the history lesson on the on my thoughts on what's wrong with wrestling right now. So AEW, I was all in it for, the first couple years, and then it just started getting a little stale for me. And a lot of it has to do with Tony Khan is like, he's way too much into indie wrestling, and not necessarily for the reasons that what I say. Like, I wish that he could. So WWE, I wish they could do just a little bit more of what Tony Khan does and give us a little bit more service to the fans and to kind of to the Homer. And I feel like AEW is just doing it's things. Storylines are going way too long. It takes 3 months to get anywhere. I hate having a month with a title defense and knowing that nothing's going to transpire, nothing's going to happen with that. One of the biggest shocks, and what was fun is that you had the thing with Kenny collecting the belts and everything, and you didn't know that was going to happen. That was a shocker. And you don't get stuff like that anymore. And right now, WWE ruined WrestleMania. They ruined it. They could have, seriously, this past WrestleMania could have been the best WrestleMania ever had they just have let Cody Rhodes win. If Cody Rhodes would have won, that would have sent that thing over the top. It was a great WrestleMania. All in all, it was Cody Rhodes' time, and some people can say, well, he didn't, he hadn't really put enough work in it. You tear a pec and try to come back from it and see how that goes for you. I mean, he had enough adversity with all of this stuff. It was there for him. And, 6. Thank you. I appreciate. I knew it was something like that. But, so, and, person is indie BS on people. Yeah, see, that's the thing right now with Tony Khan is he's forcing like indie stuff on people, and come to find out, now you know why Cody left, because it was, every person that's coming through has to have a battle with Cody. And I mean, when you're coming out, you're forced to be this baby face and you get booed every night. Yeah, that's going to be tough. And yeah, I can see why you're going to leave. Tony Khan has got to figure out how to change some things up and breathe new life into it. His storylines are just too long, and some of it's just convoluted. You need some of that WWE hokiness in there. The thing for me with the WWE though is that it's it's all almost too hokey, too Vince. It's, some of the stuff, it's just, it's too surface level. Now, granted, they know how to pack a stadium. I mean, week in and week out, they're sold out. So maybe I'm the one that's wrong with professional wrestling. But I'm just, I'm just frustrated with it. And that's kind of where I'm at with it. So, hold on one second here. Alrighty. So, professional wrestling, I love it. I think that right now, I think that Vince McMahon needs to give control back to Triple H. Things were going better under Triple H. I think he screwed it up and came back just in enough time to screw up WrestleMania. And yeah, I did kind of tune into WrestleMania. I kind of keep my thumb on wrestling. I don't actually just kind of like watch it like I used to. I kind of just see where the news are and where things are heading with it. And that's kind of where I go. So, I love cheesy LOL. Give me Doink the Clown LOL. Yeah, the very first Doink the Clown was fantastic. Doink was a great thing, and then it became a gimmick. But yeah. Professional wrestling was and always has been something, and I try to come back to it here and there, but it goes in spurts with me. A lot of it has to do with that stuff. So, all right. Been on here for about an hour. Sorry, Jared, I missed you. Come on. Going to have wrestlers playing football as a kid. Yeah, that's kind of how it felt, like with The Rock coming out and announcing things like that. And it is kind of cool when you think about it. The Rock back in doing what he did with the XFL and now owning it. It's very cool, and I guess we're going to turn back around and finish up on football. So I'm going to take the next, I've got 5 minutes here I'm going to be on, and then we'll be done for the night. One of the things that I'm going to touch on, and I'm going to go back to the No Fun League here, and I do want to make a point, and I want to say something about the NFL draft. I hopefully you have been like me and you've watched enough football and seen enough of these alternative leagues to understand that, yes, there are guys that just can't cut it, but a lot of it but there are those guys that just fit in the wrong place to where I don't view things as like draft busts or like hits. I view it more as you drafted the wrong guy. And a lot of times these guys never get an opportunity to like redeem themselves on another team or be able to pick up by another team because they got their shot and they didn't fit in that offense and it didn't go 100% as planned, and the team moved on from them and football moved on from them and they went things went off and, they went off into the sunset and doing something else. And so now the XFL and the USFL gives guys like that, and I'm talking about guys like DiNucci and McCarron, it gives them new life, and I think that it's fun, and I think if we can continue this thing on, these guys can actually start making some money with it. To where, I wouldn't put it past a guy, to come in and play in the USFL, be making, $500,000, here next year, or even in the within a couple years, a guy coming into the league, who had been kind of a veteran guy, in the NFL, come in and know he just kind of wants to play, still wants to lace him up and do that, but, really isn't into the whole big thing with the NFL, and kind of signs up with an XFL team, a USFL team, making $500,000 to come out and play for 4 months and then go back to his life. Yeah, I mean, I can see that. There's too much money involved, too risky to keep players that do not fit. Yeah, I mean, I totally agree. That's the thing. I feel like these guys that are considered draft busts, I think that, that there is a good portion of them that really aren't busts. They just didn't fit in the system with the coach. And who knows? Nobody would have fit in the system with some of these coaches these coaches are head coaches for like 3 years and then, go off into the sunset and finish out their days as coordinators or positional coaches. I mean, that's just the reality of it. And the guy could have been fantastic, but yeah, you got so much money rolled into these high draft picks, especially quarterbacks, that there really is no opportunity outside of that. If a guy, we're talking about playing. I'm not talking about a guy being set for life. Because the reality of it is if you're a high draft pick, you're going to have enough, you're making enough money to be set for life. And if you squander it all, that's kind of on you. If you ask me, you got enough money to do that. And, I feel like that's kind of, like I said, I've just watched enough football and seen guys bounce around from different teams and look really good in one setting, look absolutely horrible in another, and it's not them. They're actually a good football player. Crazy. I noticed the former first pick by the Buffalo, M. Elam from Florida, a couple years back, playing for the Guardians. Yeah, he's actually been playing well. He's one of the few bright spots on that Orlando team. He's been playing a heck of a ball. Vince would have loved the XFL or Ricky Williams. Yeah. So, couple more minutes here. I'm going to be on if you guys want to ask me a quick question, or you got something real quick here. But yeah, so I just kind of wanted to touch on that as we're kind of looming into the NFL draft, that, it'll be neat to see that these guys now that are going to get drafted and be considered draft busts are going to get that opportunity, to kind of prove themselves, because they'll have leagues like this. And so I think it'll be pretty cool. The next thing we're going to be talking about here is does the XFL expand? I don't know. I don't know if we're there yet. With the USFL, I'm almost like yes. If they have a decent season and, if people show up like their ticket scales have been, I think with the USFL, yes. XFL, I don't really know at this point. Alex Mollett is doing great for the Houston Roughnecks. Yeah, there's a lot of guys that are doing really, really well, that we can touch on and we can talk about. But anyways, guys, that's kind of what I have for tonight. I just kind of want to get on here. I just kind of wanted to chat with everybody. Hadn't chatted in a while, so hopefully everybody enjoyed it. I'm going to go ahead. It's 11 o'clock. We've been on here for a little while, so been about an hour. It's been very enjoyable. I really appreciate everyone coming out. I appreciate all the love. I appreciate all of the support. I love all of the comments section. You guys really do help build the channel, and you really help things going on there, and the support is just it's overwhelming, and it's fun, and trying to get as much out there as I can. So finish this up. Let's see here. The best of the draft will be next year. XFL, it will be starting next year. Yep. So everyone, have a good, fantastic night, and we'll see you all soon here. Have a good night, everyone. Bye.